Good afternoon, folks, and welcome back to the Celtic Unrestricted View. It's myself, JP, and joining me this afternoon, my good man, Mr. Ryan Clifford, and we are joined by the man himself from down under, ex-Raith Rovers striker, ex-Raith Rovers hero, actually, and Scottish footballer. It is indeed Mr. John Baird. John, it's good to see you, pal, and I hope you're well.
Thanks for having me again. Yours might be quite early for yours. What's that, 12 o'clock? So we're...
It's just left. It's actually, we're late, so I do apologise as well. It's 10 past 12 in the day here, mate.
So we're the clocks have changed, so that's us 8 hours ahead. Sorry, so it's a bit frustrating when it comes to the games, but that's what it is. So,
how do you guys cope with that, John? When obviously you're trying to see the football and is it no brain numbing for you?
Well, because of the way the Champions League times, we're going to 8 hours. That makes it a lot better for us for catching it in the morning before you get up and doing your graft and that. The 7, you're talking about 4 o'clock, but when it's 7 hours, you're looking a bit freeish. But we've got a Mandra Celtic supporters club, and there's one in Perth as well in the city, which I think that's actually the second biggest in the world, if I'm right. But the Mandra one, guy Kev O'Neill does it. He's for Coatbridge. But because of the times, we're not going to get a game. I think it's going to be the next time we get a game, something like the cup finals the 15th. So I'm not too sure because of the time of the pubs opening, that because the pubs will be shut at the time. The cup final about 11:30, I think, unless they change the time. So we'll need to go in the city for that one. But look, it is what it is. But we do make the most of it. We normally see most games at a place called the Pen, which is if you look outside the Pen windows, you're sitting there with dolphins and stuff like that. So it's quite surreal watching Celtic games and stuff like that's going on. But it's good. It's good. It's a mixed pub as well, and they've put up the Celtic strip on the wall and stuff like that, which you wouldn't get away with in Glasgow.
No, there's no many. There's only a select few pubs in Glasgow, John, that have got Celtic taps on their wall, mate.
It's totally different here. They don't understand, man.
Ryan, a very good afternoon to you, pal. It's good to see you back on. It's nice to see you in person since you made your debut on East End Community Radio for a channel last night, mate. But it's good to see you, and obviously it's good to get John back with us.
Well, my mother did say I've got a face for radio, mate. So that's me put it to the test there last night. So no, it's good to get John back on as well. Every time I spoke to John, it's been quite good chats. And again, he obviously speak to guys that have played the game, still in the game. It's insightful for us, mate, because like I say, us as fans, you can give opinions and your knowledge of the game, but when you talk to guys like John and guys in the game, it's a different topic because, like I say, it's facts. It's not just opinions. It's there to be seen. So, thanks to John again for giving me his time. I know it's quite late in Australia, so but no, I'm good, JP. Obviously, it is getting colder out here. It's getting the hoodies with sure the Lonnie's get menu delivery, so ask me to get the hoodies back in store for the winter, mate. But no, I'm good. Looking forward to the chat, and obviously Celtic doing well as well, mate. So that helps as well.
Yeah, and obviously, as Ryan says there, John, obviously we've got you back on, mate, to get a wee chat with you and a wee catch up with you, obviously, about how life is over in Australia at Mandra and how things are going personally off the pitch. And just to find out, I just want to ask you one question. Are you missing pulling the boots on yourself?
I must. I got an injury there, probably about the fourth last game of the season. I done my knee, my medial, so I missed the playoff games and that for promotion, which was frustrating. I'm saying I probably said I'm missing playing without even thinking there. To be honest, I'm not. I'm a bit. I don't know what I'm going to do next year, as in playing wise. Obviously, I'm the manager of the team, but I don't. I would probably say I'm closer to the boots will stay away. So,
is that through choice, or is it you being forced into that then?
No, that's been 2 years in the bout that I'll be 40 next year. That's another thing. And I've 2 years in the bounce. I've done both knees, but it's not been like as in like I know people go my age and that. It's been like one of them was I got a bad tackle, and then the other one was quite strange. I went up to stop a cross, and the ball's hit me in the temple and knocked me out. So when I'm landing my leg, if you can imagine a boxer, his legs are all over the camp. I've landed very awkward, and then that was it. So, but I don't know if I can be. It's a rehab every time you get injured, man. And I've never been injured all my life till the last 2 seasons, and it's always been like that was the fourth last game, and the one before that was the second last game. So I've missed the playoff stuff, probably the biggest games of the season. But it's been good being on the side. I've enjoyed that side of it. So we get 4 games of the league coaching, and then we done the playoff game. So I enjoyed it on the side, and the feedback I got after boys and that was a lot. I was a lot calmer, and they probably enjoyed me being in the side rather than next to them shouting at them. They can ignore me for the side.
And Ryan, as John says there, obviously getting knocked out, mate. You used to that just watching Liam Scales try to play out for the back at Celtic, mate. So it's obviously a different experience getting hit in the temple and getting knocked out that way, mate.
Aye, but normally after he plays, I'm knocked out with bleach. My bleach I've had during the game. So, but no, it's interesting that John says about him. Obviously, maybe I can maybe go on. I'm no age of John, but obviously it was injuries that kind of stopped me playing football. So I can get what John says. There's only so many injuries you get and rehabs you go through, and you like to really put myself through this again. I think that's the thing when you do get a bad injury or it keeps happening to you. Obviously, it's different if you're playing with Celtic or Rangers or a big club like that. You're obviously paid for the full way and you're paid handsomely, so you can go in and get all the facilities and things like that. But when you're maybe playing amateur or junior, you're not maybe getting the full kind of fruits of the facilities and the wages, and when it comes with it, then it's on you yourself to do a rehab as well. Because I'm guessing John will be maybe doing bits and bobs with the physio if I've got one at the club, but I'm guessing it's more himself and having to get up and do the rehab. And I can imagine John, eventually you're going to go, do I really need to do it anymore?
Well, that is it. There's a boy he's from Manchester. He's a good physio called Dom, and I would say he's just the exact same sort of visuals that I had through my career and in the clubs. Do you know what I mean? It's quite ironic that the first time I get like any sort of injuries, it's when I'm not in a full-time environment where I would say cared for and I was a plan. But Dom gave us all the stages and all the plans to do. So I know what needs to be done, and I have been doing it because obviously I want everything sorted with money. I've been quite lucky. I've not needed any operations in the two of them when I was done. But when I went for the scan the second year, the woman put it into the computer and she went, "Oh, you're here for your yearly checkup?" I was to the exact same day that I went, "No, I'm here to get my other knee scanned." So I was like, it's even like the boy, he's asking me to go and do things on a Sunday and stuff. I can't hardly even walk. That was before it even happened. Just with obviously my age, and I've been playing football since I've been 6-year-old. So every day it's my feet are in bits, but look, it's been brilliant. I'll see how it goes. Pre-season starts the first couple of weeks in December, but I'll not be taking part in it. I'll be taking it along with other coaches, and then I'll see how I'm at after Christmas. But I would say I'm more towards no playing.
Is coaching something, John, that you've always wanted to get into anyway as part of playing football? Has that always been in your head?
I would say since even before when I was involved in football, just silly things like you remember when you were like a young boy, you used to do street games. You would have a street team, stuff like that. I would always be the one that would be like arranging it. Like I was always quite controlling that way.
Yeah.
And that's probably how I've played as long as I have as well, because the last 3 years I maybe wouldn't have played if I wasn't in a position of like controlling it, if you know what I mean, as in like, which for because I think you get to a stage of like, say you're like 36, 37, I need to keep going to that. Whereas if you know you can manage your body, you're not going to a manager saying, "Look, I don't feel like training tonight" and stuff like that. It's maybe helped us belong. But to answer your question, I done my badges really early. Done my B licence, my UFA B, my UFA. Probably I started my UFA B when I was in my 20s, and then finished my A when I was in early 30s. So, and then I helped out in Falkirk Academy. as well. When I was playing with him, I would go up to Stirling Uni and help. That was quite good. That was a good experience, and then I just kind of went for there. But no, it's obviously I've got my own academy in Manchester as well, so it is a lot of football, but it's all I know. It's all I know.
Ryan, that kind of gives younger guys who are still playing with that sort of mindset getting into coaching a wee bit of a different turn now, doesn't it? With John saying that, because I don't think there's. Do you think there's enough in the game, Ryan, that you've got young guys aspiring to be coaches, or do you think they're just concentrating too much on playing?
I think, well, if it was me anyway, I've obviously done a bit of coaching when I was younger, but I done it just because it obviously was part of my job when I was younger. But I always had a wee thing in my head that I would go and kind of do coaching. But then when I was younger, I seen what the coaches with SFA worked with me, what they done, and then I've seen other managers professionally where I spoke to coaches, and I'm thinking I could never do that job. I think it's a lot of process you need to go through, and a lot of studying yourself and developing yourself. And I don't think it's something that you just go, right, I'm going to do coaching. I think you need to want to do it, and you need to develop it, and you need to obviously speak to other people. And I think it's, especially in Scotland anyway, in terms of the money, a lot of people might do it for a full-time job. They might want to go and their money out it. In Scotland, unless you're working at maybe Celtic or Rangers or a top SPFL club, I don't think the money's involved, especially with the SFA. When I was coaching younger, there was no money involved in it. It was just like the council, basically. There was no really big money involved.
Like the bigger players, you would say in Scotland, well, you can see it in England as well. I think you'll look at Lampard and Gerrard and Rooney, that out of that generation, they're actually involved in management. But I'm not saying coaches are, well, there's been stuff came out, especially with obviously a German taking over the England job, right? A lot of them are saying that the British coaches are lazy and stuff like that. They did use the word England, but obviously I wouldn't say Scottish coaches and stuff are lazy. What I would say is a lot of the players who have made money that don't need to be in the game, they don't get involved in it, or see the people who are workers and grafters, they can go and earn better money. Like boy Mark Riley, quite close with, played with Motherwell, Kilmarnock, St Johnstone, Reading and stuff like that. He went into another side of business because he's a worker anyway, so he was going to earn more money and support his family better into business than he was being a coach. Now, you could do well and get a job, but the job ain't only last for 3 months. You see these people signing 3-year contracts and all that. There'll be a release clause in that you only need to pay 6 months for your wages. So basically, there's only 6 months contract. You're tied to the club.
Is that something that's involved in contract, aye?
By the way, it's getting worse. It's getting less. I think people were actually coming and doing it for free. Like they would say, didn't want a release clause. When I was at Inverness, I'm not saying an Inverness manager was doing it, but I remember the coach at Inverness telling me about it. People were basically going to job and say, I don't need the release clause, let's just go with it. And it was basically like week-to-week contracts. But I can work for the coach as well if he's doing well. But it's not what it's made out. It's a lot of long hours. You're missing your family, your kids, and I'm not trying to put people off coaching and stuff like that. But I think you need to be in a financial position that you hear this word. What's the word they use? The coaches say, "I'm taking a year out" and stuff like
that. A break. I know what you're talking about. Aye.
So it's all right for people to do that, but then you see other coaches that they have to be in work to pay their bills. I know coaches that had taxi badges and stuff like that, so that if they did lose their job, they could be able to go and work the next week. So it's a brilliant game. When everyone's gone well, it's a brilliant game. But if you ask the Hibs manager, I don't think he'll be enjoying it too much. Look at Naismith, he may be enjoying it now. He's quite financially secure and stuff like that. He's out the game and he's probably enjoying the break. But a lot of people that lose their jobs in football they're not able to go and enjoy the break. There's probably only about 1-2% of people can go and enjoy the break. The rest need to work and pay their family off, help their family.
What inspired you yourself, John, to want to get into coaching in the first place? Is it just your love of the game, or was it an individual that kind of set you on that path?
No, well, obviously I got the job when I think it was 35, so player coach, and obviously somebody's got a bit of faith in me as well. And I think coming over here, they seen the professionalism that my background came over and gave me opportunity. But before that, I was involved with Forfar. When I left Inverness, Jim Weir asked me to be the assistant manager, and I think I was only 33 at the time. So I thought that was I 32? No, 32. So I think I was one of the youngest. I probably was the youngest assistant manager in the leagues. But I felt it was a good learning curve and progression for me coming from playing. And I also knew I was coming to Australia. I was planning coming to Australia anyway, so it was something that I wanted to be ahead of people who were coming into. So that gave me, and I seen how he ran it. I seen what it was like behind the scenes with clubs and boards and stuff like that. So you had to deal with a lot of different things, and you also had to deal with players. Now, when I was just a player, you just had to deal with yourself. But when I was obviously the number 2, I saw another side of people in the game, as in a dressing room, that it wasn't nice. And it's about getting a dressing room together that you don't have any of the people around about you. Because if you have the people around about you, you're in serious trouble.
Is that a hard part of it, John, the selection process then? You're talking about the dressing room and obviously getting the right...
I think you can tell after a couple of weeks if they're good genes or bad genes. And I'm not talking about ability, I'm just talking about as people. You would rather your dressing room's the most important thing, and probably lately and other things during the last couple of years. Maybe when I was younger, I wouldn't say I let it. When I was young, when I first started at the first couple of years, I was like a wrecking ball. You would go and look for stuff, whereas it comes to you. You don't even, you just know. And then I'll sit and say to my coaches, this is happening in a couple of weeks, and you can smell it. You can see things because of just the experience of being in the game since you've been 16. And the excuses, I've had a couple of cracking excuses, absolute belters. So I have, but it's just it's but your dressing room, and that's what keeps me involved in the game, is how good your dressing room is. We're just back for actually the team. So say at the end of the season, boys all go away and stuff like that. That's 3 years in a row we've all went to Bali. So we all just came back. So it was good bunch of boys. Obviously I'm live and I don't want to say the word that I would say, that we've got a certain type in my dressing room, and that's the most important. That's what keeps my coaches coming, and it keeps us coming and being able to be their managers.
Obviously, Ryan, I was hoping John was going to elaborate for us there when he said about certain words and whatnot, but he's obviously it's only half past. It's only going to 12:30 here in Glasgow, so I think he's trying to keep it as a family show, Ryan.
Am I allowed to swear on this?
You can if you want, mate. I mean, it's up to you. But there is a quid swear box at the end, mate. We'll just get you to
I've not got any coins. It's dollars I've got.
We accept dollars or not, mate. Don't worry about that.
I'm sure. I think it was recently. I don't know if you've seen it. I'm sure it was Ange that said it, and he did mention that. He says if you've got one bad egg, or you've got one bad guy, or one bad personality, he says that's your dressing room snookered. He went, especially at that level. He says you've got to have. I think that's why he speaks to his players, like he spoke to Joe Hart and other guys, and he thought, nah, you're not for me. You're for me. And is that something you do as well, John, when you speak to people?
I definitely, but I have made a couple of mistakes. Like I done that last year, but instead of just dealing me at the time, I maybe sat on it a couple of too long. We didn't have a good start to the season. We never got going. Probably 8 games into it, and then we started with a few boys that came from the UK. So they came, and then obviously in the back of the UK seasons, they come straight into a full season in Australia, just the way the leagues are. And it was that I knew it would take them a bit of time to get going. So I was kind of trying to keep the numbers and all the rest of it, whereas I just went, no, but pick up your boots and get to. And I wouldn't do that again. That was, but you learn all the time, don't you? And as soon as the boys were away, we started flying.
But do you think that's something now, obviously, back in the UK and other places all over the world, guys are getting 4 and 5 year contracts, and some guys, when a day or two, you're thinking, why have I signed him? But obviously, you can't just let him go.
Look at Chelsea. You're getting 8 years.
Aye.
Well, you're getting a decade. But where it is right across, take the A-League out it, right across Australia, it's pay as you play contracts, so it's not like boys are on salaries, so it means you can just go like, mate, like that's not happening type of thing. But no, your dressing rooms, I suppose every manager's going to say that, and I've seen it when you're at a lower level in Scotland, then say your team's doing well and they move up, and then you start bringing in you would say big hitters, boys come in and good contracts and that. You start finding that it loses the dressing room loses its heart. When everybody's not together on a certain level, and then say a couple of boys come in maybe and a lot more money than others, it does cause issues. Mm-hmm. So we try to keep everybody run about the same bracket, and it's more about the team and stuff like that. That's what I've learned there the last few years, and it done well. We've done well. So we played Perth Glory in the semi-final, and we beat them 3-1. And then, so the way it works here, so they'll have 18s reserves and then an NPL team. So they ended up second bottom the NPL team. They play us. But their A-League team's nothing to do with the A-League. So they'll play like the full Australia. Mm-hmm. And then the three groups that I just mentioned, they play in Western Australia. Obviously because of travel and stuff like that. But so we beat them 3-1. And then we go to play them in the second leg at their bit. And they brought in three, maybe 4 A-League players to play in the game. Straight away, that's a full-time environment. They're training every day. I've got boys that are working 40, 50, 60 hours a week and then training at night and playing with us on a Saturday. Now, we beat them 3-1, and the team that we played the second time, I know myself, we had a few boys missing in all that day, maybe 3 players out. So, whereas they've gained 3 players, 4 players. Centre-half, goalkeeper, centre-half, centre midfielder, and a winger. And I think even the striker, maybe, I don't think he's played A-League, but you can see he was a level above. And they beat us 5-0, and obviously they progressed to the final, but I don't think that's correct. I think that's you wouldn't get that anywhere else. Whereas when Lee first came over, Lee played the last 2 league games of our season, and then it was like a top 4 cup, which is basically the playoff. But you never get promotion at this time for that. So we get into the final, we're looking to play Lee, and he says no, because he's not played enough games. Then we went to a final a couple of years later, and 4 players are able to play, and I think one of them played like 1 game. So it's something that's definitely got to be looked at. But that's what it is.
There is a couple of questions came in on a live chat, John, just as you've mentioned Lee Griffiths himself. There's a couple of guys now asking how Lee is doing over there.
I seems settled. He's got his 2 boys over. He get engaged to his fiancée now, Caitlin. So I think they've been over here for maybe 2 years. I think it'll be 2 years after Christmas. They've been over here, maybe even before Christmas, maybe 2 years already. 18 months at least anyway. So they seem well, getting on with life, and I think they're enjoying the quietness. They seem that they're doing all right. Obviously, I don't want to speak too much about his family side because it's
of course, 100%. In terms of his football and that, is he still enjoying that?
Aye. He scored. He ended up your top goal scorer last year. So he's just got himself had a hernia there, so he's just got an operation. So we'll see how he is after that for pre-season.
Okay.
And take it for there. No, he seems all right. He was a player coach for us last year, so he's moved into that side there as well. So we'll see. Seems happy enough. Believe it or not, what you see on a pitch and what you see in the papers, and that's quite a quiet person. Mm-hmm. Quite shielded type of guy, but he's all right. He's all right.
Ryan, obviously I remember the last time when John was speaking to us, he was saying that Lee was quite surprised that they were able to go out and watch Celtic play, and he was able to just sit there and no get annoyed and no be getting people over, annoying him, asking him for photos, and Lee himself couldn't believe that. That must be a big change in his life, definitely.
Oh, definitely. Obviously, John's been here himself, so he knows what it's like. I'd imagine if if John was to go to other clubs that he was rivalry, he would probably get abused in that side of the city. So, especially now if he goes to Govan, I don't think he'll get the best attention. But no, I think in terms of a lot of people say that it comes with a job, but it shouldn't come with a job. JP, you should be allowed to go and do what you want, go where you want, and go to a restaurant where you want, go to a pub where you want and stuff. But it must be a nice thing for Lee and his family to just go and do what they want and enjoy life, basically, because it must be the same for Scott Brown back here, Barry Ferguson at the Rangers, all that, walk about and you can't go certain places and stuff. And it's just, I think Paul Lamb puts it, you're in like a fishbowl here, aren't you? And then when you leave it, you're like, when you leave it, you're thinking, this is different, this is nice, you know what I mean? So people say it comes with it, but it shouldn't come with it. It's just, there's a lot of people out there that it's just, that's what it is.
There's a lot of ex-footballers staying in Perth. Well,
did it,
there's a few staying manager. There's a boy, Rhys Williams, Australian international, played with Middlesbrough, Burnley.
Oh, right, aye.
Mm-hmm. He went to Saudi Arabia and stuff like that. Obviously, Lee, Gabriel Batistuta stays in manager.
Does he, huh?
I've never seen him, but he stays in manager.
That's how you have to sign.
Wow.
Get him to sponsor the club, man. I think there was a story that there was an after-dinner speaker thing at the club, and somebody get in touch with whoever deals with stuff in it, and for him to come and speak for it that night was something like 20 grand. So that would be about £10,000. Yeah, so that's probably how we've never seen him.
we done a fantastic night with Joe Miller just a short period of time ago there, and I don't think we'll be getting Gabriel on anytime soon.
No, I don't think so. No.
Boy, obviously, this is Gary Stevens played with Everton. Rangers.
Yeah. Aye. Mm-hmm.
His boy plays at the club, so he does. Gary's a physio. He's a physio over here. He actually works with a guy Dom that does master. Helped me with my rehab and stuff like that. There's a few more in Perth. But, there's Andy Keogh played with Republic Island.
Aye.
Mm-hmm. He plays in the same league as us now.
Is he not a winger, John? Aye, winger. Striker.
He scored a few goals this year, to be fair. And then there's Stephen McGarry, played with St Mirren Motherwell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The league we're in, he's the manager of the team that won the league. And then there's Ian Ferguson as well, the ex St Mirren Rangers player. He manages another team in the league, Dynella. So there's a lot of Scottish boys. The guy that won the NPL league is a guy from Edinburgh called David Tuff, and then McGarry obviously won the league underneath to get promotion. He's Scottish, so the Scottish boys have done all right.
Another wee question here for the live chat. And one of our regular commenters, Ange has asked, are all the teams in Australia pay as you play, John?
Yes, under the A-League, yes. Some in Melbourne might be different. In Sydney, that they maybe give them some sort of salary, but everyone's geared towards pay as you play and bonuses and stuff like that. But see, be honest, the NPL teams in Melbourne and Sydney, they'll probably be able to pay more money than the A-League now. The A-League's really, really struggling. Every club used to get like $5 million for the TV money to obviously put towards their wages and stuff like that and help running the club. That get cut to half a million. So you're seeing a lot of younger players playing in the league. I actually went and watched the Perth Glory in Melbourne City on Sunday, me, the wife and the two kids. And the standard wasn't great, Melbourne won 5-0, Melbourne City, but they're actually teammates. They're like a sister company, sister team of Man City. They're in that group, so you're expecting them to be a lot better. But I've seen. Is
that who Tillio plays for? Marco Tillio has been over here at Celtic.
I just got injured, so he missed that game on Sunday because he got injured the week before. But I've not seen a player in the A-League that I would go, Celtic should sign him. Not one player.
So do you think, John, then that could be a massive reason then as to why Marco obviously struggled when he came over? Because when he came on, I remember being at Celtic Park the night, I think it was Ross County, we played.
He looked well off it.
He was tiny. He just looked like a wee boy. And everybody, it was like Land of the Giants when he came on the pitch. And it just looked miles away from it.
So they'll do pre-season here for about 3 months before the season starts. And then you go to the game on Sunday and you go, they don't even look fit. Our game in Scotland, or I would say Scotland especially, is so fast. Like you wouldn't even believe. And it's no need to come and I played in Melbourne, and then obviously I've come here. Obviously the standard's different, but the pace of the game in the Championship and in the Premiership in Scotland is absolutely lightning compared to the league.
Do you think we get a bad, well, not a bad rep, but do you think, obviously you played the game, so you know exactly how good the players are, how technically it is, how quick it is. Is it far better than people think it is?
Scotland, 100%. Well, you see the amount of boys that have, even Ireland, by the way, the league, see when you look at the leagues in Ireland and now, the crowds and all that, they're absolutely brilliant, and how well they're doing in Europe. We went there to Falkirk, we went there to Ireland for pre-season, so I've always took an interest, because the European games were on when we were there for pre-season, so I used to go to the games. We're allowed out at the hotel as long as we're going to a game, so I used to go to as many games as possible. And
just to get out of the hotel.
I remember going to St. Pat's. St. Pat's were playing a team. It might be a team for Israel or something. And the guy, Cal Robinson, was sitting next to me. And so he seen we all were tracksuits on. If we were going to the games, Vanny's wanted to go where we ought to go. So we dropped off the bus and we'd have a Falkirk track on. And Cal Robinson's starts asking me about Falkirk and all the rest of it. And obviously he was MK Don's manager at the time. I said, how are you looking for next year? And he said, we've sold a boy. He said he'll be in the England team in the next 12 months to 18 months. I was like, who's that? He went, Dele Alli. He said, he's unbelievable. He says, what a player he is. And then he asked me about Jackson Irvine. He said, and he explained the way Dele Alli is. And he was like, Jackson Irvine's been put to us. What do you think him as a player? I says, well, you're looking for a ball player or you're looking for a box-to-box type? Because Jackson was just a box-to-box industrial player. And he says, no, a ball player and stuff like that, the way we play. I said, well, he's not going to fit your team, but look how well Jackson's done. But he is a box-to-box player. He's the captain here still, Jackson. But
is it St. Pauli he's with still?
Aye, St. Pauli, aye. But to get back to like the standard, it just shows you how well everybody's doing in Europe. Even look at Celtic, the Champions League, it does get a bad rep. And I'll go to see like Dundee players, right? Just say like Luke McCowan, right? See 6 months ago, or even there's the story about Hearts were looking at him and they just never. He's coming fair United. We'll just leave it. Well, that's the attitude that's stopping. Now he's at Celtic for 1.5 million or something. That's the attitude. Why? Because he's at United. If a boy can play, he can play. They do all the stats and all the rest of it. They can do all how far you run, everything. Yeah. But there's a snobbery towards it, and that's killing teams actually getting players. It was the same way like Van Dijk got at Southampton. Liverpool take him for Celtic. It saves him 60 million.
Yeah.
He paid 20. He's still the same player. And that was a 20 million gamble. It's like us signing Luke. What sort of gamble's 1.5 to sell it? We've just sold a guy for 25 million. By the way, just got the winner. But he was an MK Dons player.
Yeah, I know.
He was an MK Dons player before he came to Celtic. Do you know what I mean? So
he couldn't get a game under hands. Aaron Boyd kept him out of the team.
I know. He was a good player, but he was a good.
Aaron Boyd's brilliant.
I think the Celtic team now is the best Celtic team I've seen. And it probably because when I'm younger, like you're thinking about the Martin Neal teams and stuff like that. But I think that's as good as a football team. That Champions League performance was the best I've seen since. Well, my best ever game was Celtic versus Juventus when we won 4-3. Big Sutton scored the volley.
Yeah.
But she has in control in a game of football. The 1-touch, 2-touch passing that was absolutely fantastic. It was brilliant. That was as good as I've witnessed anyway.
So, John, just obviously touching on, you mentioned about the level compared to Scotland and over. So there is a significant difference to you then, yeah, in terms of
what I would say with the league and where they class themselves, and see because of the visa rules, it absolutely kills it here. So I've got boys in my team that can play back home. Maybe not play in the Premier League, but they can play League 1, League 2, no bother. no bother, more than comfortable at. And if they're going to a full-time environment, because I've seen like Partick Thistle, for instance, signing junior players. I've had junior players come out of my team, they struggle, they can't get in the team. Whereas I know I've got boys on my team now that if they get put in the right environment, they would be able to make a full-time career out of it in Scotland.
Is that something that you try? Obviously, you're not wanting your players to leave and stuff, but is that something that you can maybe highlight as coaches? Like he's doing well here. I might, if he's got an agent, or I can put feelers out. Obviously, show me your contacts back home.
No, I've done it. I've done it already. The boy, we've got a player, Jordan Callahan, was in at Falkirk with McGlynn last year, and he said technically very good, but Jordy was only, I think Jordy's just come up for 18. He was just turned 17. Very good technically, they're at the pace of the game, but that takes time. Obviously, when you're going into that environment, it takes time for the pace in Australia. There's a boy now, Liam Bonner. He's over in Scotland now. I think he's in at Clyde and he's going to Sunra, and he's been into a couple of junior teams as well. But there is, see that about we don't want to lose our players. I want everybody to move and get, honestly, if anybody can go as far as they can. The last thing I would want to do is get held back, because it happened to me at stages of my career and probably hindered development or opportunities at a time. So I under no circumstances would I end up. I'm going to try to help people and put them in front of people. I think that's the way to be, and I think if that's the way with you, that'll help the coaches as well. I think that helps you as a coach if you've got, because players want to come and play for you. We've signed 2 boys for America, and the first question they asked was, can you help me go to the next level, as in help me get into trials in the UK and stuff like that? Because you look at it as a stepping stone, let's be honest. It's, if you're here or we've got a lot of boys, we've got a few boys that are manager boys, but there's going to be a time they're going to need to move on as well to fulfil their development in football. You've got to move, you've got to get change. It's the same with a coach. It's the exact same as a coach. But no,
is that a continuous message, John, that you're putting out to everyone then? Obviously, you try and do what you can.
Look, I think there's a time to move. Like, spoke to a player this year, and I was like, and he was talking about going a level above and stuff, and I was like to him, I don't want to mention him because it's because the boys in the dressing room, but I was like to him, you're not ready. You're not ready. You need another year at least. Because what I've found and what I've seen with Australians moving, they move too early and then they come back, and then soon you come back, you don't get to go again. The card's marked. They've already went, and I wouldn't say failed, it just might not be the right sort of environment for you. But if you're leaving at 18-year-old to go somewhere, 19, even 20, you've not got a clue. I'll tell you, I went to a Dutch team, FC Dordrecht.
I've heard of it.
Mark de Vries just left and went to Hearts, and I went over, so I ended up taking his digs. Place was absolutely gorgeous, beautiful city in it. But I was there myself, 1920, and agreed to sign, done the week, and I was supposed to be there 2 weeks, back home, get my stuff and come back. See, a week into it, I just left, went and got a taxi at the airport. I wasn't ready, I couldn't do it. I wanted to be him.
Were you miles? Were you off the level? Sorry, Ryan, I'll let you know. Were you off the level, John, or were you just missing home?
Just maturity. Right. You see, for somebody with me.
That's what I was going to say, aye.
But I was myself, and my parents are working, got wee brothers that are at school and stuff like that. It's just a different. But see, if I got the opportunity 3 or 4 years later, I would have been fine. Do you know what I mean? But then the opportunity is obviously not there at that time. Other things come up, but it's no easy. I was in Melbourne for myself for 3 months, and I went to the airport after about 6 weeks, going, I'm going home. And then I was like, well, I need to. I was staying for family reasons because of my visa and stuff like that. I was looking to sort my visa out, and but it is hard being away from your family and stuff like that. But I get how boys want to go to the UK, but it's got to be the right time. Like, we've got one of the boys here now, and I hope he does do well. Like, I really do. He's a good boy. His family are good people. But sometimes you might go that wee bit earlier. You can hold off and go a bit later.
Yeah. Another wee comment, and it's more of a question to yourself, John. One of the actual guys that contribute to the podcast now and again, Big Barry McAllis, he's asking, he says, good afternoon, lads. Good to see you on the pod, John. Can I ask, do you think Nicholas Kuhn can sustain the levels that he's reached so far? And he's added in a wee cheeky one. Do you think he's better than Jota?
Yes, I do. I think he's quicker. I think pace is. How you seen his second goal there on Sunday?
Yeah.
Jota, technically very good, right? Very, very good. But I think pace frightens people.
Yep.
And I think he could do better than Jota. Now, like Patrick Roberts, right? Unbelievable in the SPL, right? But he never had that bit in the Champions League to go like that pace. Like James Forrest was playing stadium because of his pace.
Yeah.
Pace. Whereas Patrick Roberts was when you're playing against teams that are doing a low block and you're trying to jump by them and all the rest of it. There's maybe no space for that James Forrest at that time. But look at the Champions League performances with your man. Absolutely. But I heard that he get something like his wisdom teeth took it. Like he was having hamstring.
Yeah, he got a bad. It was a bad session of root canal treatment. It went severely wrong, and he ended up with a severe infection. He lost quite a bit of weight when he just signed for us.
Well, you can see the difference in him. You know, I think there'll be teams looking at him, and it'll probably because of Celtic's history of selling players as well. Like,
Well, there was
Ryan.
yeah,
I'm just glad I'm not going to do Lally, by the way, because I said to you the other night that I think he's better than Jota, and you were like, "Oh, I don't know if it's a bit early," but I'm glad John said that now.
No, I can see your point.
Me a sanity check.
I think if he continues this for the rest of the season, then I can go aye, because I think Jota done it really for 2 years, and as soon as he came in, it took maybe a few months, but he came in for basically a year and a half, and he was very consistent. He got better as the game was going on, and he left Celtic, not a ready-made player, if you want to call it ready-made, but he could have went elsewhere, but obviously a good bid came in for Saudi, and he's not going to say no to that, but you can definitely see.
Do you think Jota could do it in the Premier League in England?
Physically, maybe no.
No.
I think he's a nice, technically flair player when the ball's at his feet.
Do we even know what he's doing in France? Is he even? Because I've heard he was miles off the pace.
I've not really kept him. Don't know.
And it's due to the fact that he never got a game in Saudi.
Well, see in Saudi, I don't know if it's true, but apparently if you come back to the UK, like what's his name, Henderson, can he come back to the UK alone? Tax reasons, so he ends up in France and stuff like that. But I don't think a Premier League team would take Jota. I think if you're talking about like a Celtic or something, maybe get him in loan or whatever. But I don't think a Premier League
team. His standards have dropped now, man. He's playing beside Glenn Kamara. His teammates feeling this, so his standards have well and truly dropped now. He's probably brought down to his level.
But he was an excellent player. I don't like putting players down that have done well for the club, but I think your man's it's just his pace. He's unplayable. You saw that it looked like it was a computer game on Sunday. What he done?
That was scary. Yeah,
that's on a surface that's not suited for people to be running with the ball. With an absolute cracking goal.
It was his touch on to take him away for the defender, not just his, and then his pace to then gather past it. I mean, the boy Watson's no a slouch, mate. You know, he's got a ton of speed. He's a young fella, but he just left him for dead, man.
Been coming into Celtic and having, you would say, I struggled for January to the summer. A lot of people don't come back for that, Celtic. That's a demanding place. 60,000 people there every second week. That's very, very, and then to come back, but to the standard of where you're actually at is again, I think that shows you how even better he is. To actually, and he can play obviously in the left, but seeing he plays in the right, he can go both ways. And he's scored some goals and all. And he's if the season stopped tomorrow, it would be him and McGregor for player of the year.
What about Maeda, John? Do you not think Maeda's in with a good shout at that as well?
Aye. Look, see Maeda, right? Well, see for Maeda, for instance, was to get sold, like just to like a Premier League team, he would end up like a team like Crystal Palace or something, because he's up front, like chasing things. Whereas I think there's more to it. level wise where can go as in composure and goals and assists and that. Mate, if me had lost his pace and more, he's not the same player. You know what I mean? I wouldn't imagine him. I wouldn't imagine him being very good in training and rondos.
He'd be putting that away to Barrettfield.
Do you know what I mean?
It's like a video for Peter Kay in it. Have it, boom.
I've done that a few times, but he's a very infectious player on the part and a full size part, and I think everybody wants him in your team, but you wouldn't want him in your team 5v5. Do you know what I mean? Maybe put him right back or something, but you wouldn't want him. You wouldn't want him up front. If you look at Japan, they pick him instead of Kyogo, mind you. Do you know what I mean? Because maybe they play one up front, and it's just opinions in it, I suppose. But if you were going through 1-on-1, he's the last person you would want going through 1-on-1, wouldn't you? With the goal.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You would take Kyogo and Kun or the rest of them. Are they two made enemy?
In terms of coaching, John, obviously, when you're looking at the younger lads at Celtic, because we've had this conversation very often. You look at Celtic's B team, and then they're playing in that Lowland League just now, and they're kind of there's weeks that they're struggling to beat the A teams. We've had the conversation, the young lads coming up and trying to play in the first team and stuff, and the gap is absolutely massive, man. So, what would you say? Do you think the reserve league's got a lot to do with that being taken away now, or do you think 100%. There's another way they could go about doing it?
100%. I done Clyde were in the championship at the time and we were trying to get promotion. We're always in the top 2, top 3, and we had guys like Andy Mullen, Alan Kernigan, Billy Reid, who's with Potter, was actually the assistant.
Yeah.
Try to think of a few others. The boys that had good careers like John Potter, Andy Smith, remember the striker Andy Smith?
Yeah.
Paddy Keogh and stuff like that, right good pros, done well in the game. Then about a year and a half later, go to St Mirren, you had Kevin McGowan, Mitchell Patalainen, all these type of players. See, when you look at the championship now, and I'll get back to why I'm saying this about Celtic, see, you get to the championship now, that's not there anymore, because there's no reserve leagues. There's not enough money to actually keep these guys in the game.
Yeah.
And then, so who's the people learning off it? So see, like the B League, they'll not get anywhere near the Celtic first team to learn for the Celtic players. I don't think so, because it's a squad of 25, 26, so they don't need to carry 30 players to get up there and play. Now, see the B League, who's the boys learning off it when they're playing in their team? Who's the season pros that have got 300 games under their belt and come back for injury to play? Not one Celtic player that's been involved in Sunday that gets a strip will play a B League game this year. They might play in-house things, but there's not enough time for them to do it. To play 11v11 in it length now. So where's the kids learning from? You hear, I know, like, by the way, well before my time, there'll be a reserve game on at the opposite ground where you're playing, and there'll be players going and you hear it on fucking Gordon Dale talking and Clyde and all the rest of it, right? They talk about it all the time. But I remember it was a Saturday was a game, and see if you never played on a Saturday, you played on a Tuesday in a reserve game, maybe a Monday, if they made that a Monday night, be a Tuesday at the latest, and you had about 5 or 6 first team players. I would be on the bench for St Mirren now, and because I was a young boy, I still wouldn't get started in the reserve game with that many experienced boys, but you had to end up being better than them to get in. So then you end up being that better than them that they never played. They just wouldn't even get told to go. And then you would see that they would move out the club. You have to be better than the person in front of you, but it's becoming too easy. The Celtic reserves shouldn't be going and getting beat off Broomhill. Yeah. They shouldn't be going and getting beat off East Kilbride. So it's basically a glorified under-18s team then that aren't physically ready to play in games. Because they're used to playing against their own age group. They're used to be training with their own age group. That's the same as all Air Scotland. It's quite rubbish, isn't it? Like they've not got a reserve league and playing with men. How are you going to
They can't get a trophy, John. They can't win the league.
Well, that's another thing, right? And then they go out on loan. They go out on loan as well, right? I will see that not be able to get a trophy. What's the point in that?
Yeah.
So
Because you're taking the competitive edge away from it then.
So they can consistently just go, right, you're playing out for the back, lose about 4-5-0, doesn't count. They don't get relegated and they don't go up. It's the same thing. Well, Glory could have got relegated, but the way they can get about bringing players in, they're never going to get relegated. Well, here's I jumped the gun here. They scored 18 goals all year, and in the playoffs, they scored something like 17 goals or something in 3 games because of the other players they bring in. So that just shows you the difference, right? But see, you got it's. You see, this boy, it's like an amateur boxer with the headgear on. What an amateur career he had. Then he goes into a ring as a professional and gets hit in the face. It doesn't matter to come back out. It doesn't matter to go and fight. He ends up. How many times have you seen somebody as an amateur get an unbelievable record and then he can't fight? And when he gets pro. See me the boys in the B. Look at Vata, did he want to stay? No, you can see he went for money and all that. Did he want to stay because he knew when he get any team?
Yeah.
But you don't leave Celtic to go. It's the same with the boy who went to Millwall. I don't know them personally. You don't leave.
Danny Kelly. That's the thing, John. He was getting football.
But he probably knows. He probably trains with him every day and go, I'm not going to get. It's like when I played against Celtic. I go. I was at Celtic when I was 14. Played with Ross Wallace, and we went to a tournament in Belgium. We actually won the tournament, beat Inter Milan in the final. And I've come back to the tournament going, I can't get to that level. You're not going to get there. You can try all you want. It was just him and McGeady and that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Do you think some boys are just staying at the club then, John, because it's Celtic as well?
Oh, 100%. Seen it for years with boys, but that ends up stifling their career and all. It's hard. Look, you learn a lot of good things at Celtic, but there is see every club there's jersey fillers.
John, is that an early take though? In terms of you've just said yourself. You look at Ross Wallace, Ed McGeady. Couple of big shouts there. So obviously they made it their way into the Celtic first team, and then obviously left Celtic and went elsewhere. But is that an early shout that that it's easy for an individual to make? Going, man, I'm miles off it here, man. I'm never going to get there.
I wouldn't. Looking back, I'm saying I wasn't miles off it, right? But I could compete with them. But there's a difference between, because see me go and play Celtic, say when we played them in the Premier League and stuff like that. And you can go and play against them and compete with them for your 90 minutes, but you need to get back up on the Monday and do it again, the Tuesday and do it again. There's a difference. There's a level, because it's like I remember running with Stuart Armstrong one day, and I'm going full pelt, and I thought he was going full pelt. He drops a gear, and then he goes, and I'm like, wow, that's the difference. It's like motors. It's like drop somebody in 5th gear, somebody's got a 6th gear in it. It just goes quickly. And that's how the guys end up. I think when I get released for Celtic, they said I don't think you'll be an international. You need to be an international to play for Celtic. But they're right. I wasn't an international. When I look back now, I look back at my career. Guy got it spot on. Doesn't mean you're a bad player. You just go and obviously do your trade somewhere else. But there is levels, and I don't think the B League is helping. Well, is there a player that's come through in the Celtic team for the last 3 years when the B League's been happening?
Consistently, no.
No. You probably argue, the two lads we've just spoke about briefly there, Vatar and Danny Kelly. You could argue they've had game time between them, but not enough to go. Well, you look at the last couple. For me, Sean Maloney, Aidan McGeady. After that, you're maybe looking at Kieran Tierney.
Ralston, McGregor, Tierney.
Ralston, McGregor, maybe Stephen Welsh, but Stephen Welsh is, I would say, what John's just named a jersey filler there, Ryan.
But see, like Ralston, he done loan moves, right? So he went to St Johnstone, then went to Dundee United. I played against him, was at Dundee United. See, if you told me after we played against that game that he would play for Celtic and win trophies, I'd be like, you're Stephen. Honestly. And I've played
He didn't get a game for St Johnstone.
No, and he's a Scotland international. He's done absolutely brilliant. By the way, credit him. He's done amazing, man. But you could see the fear in his eyes when he was playing at Capello. I remember I was like, you loan for Celtic, man? Fuck. I was like, Jesus Christ. But look how well he's done. But that goes with, I suppose, timing and managers. And you can see that about like your McManuses and all that. Do you know what I mean? Ends up captain, leading the club. John Kennedy doesn't get injured. John Kennedy would have been fucking one of the best captains Celtic had.
Oh
Do you know
no,
what I mean?
the thing is as well. I think I actually still to this day. I spoke to my dad just a short time ago about this, and I said John Kennedy would have made Celtic a lot of money. By the way, he was gone places. That boy.
The same was going to go to AC Milan, wasn't it?
Yes.
But no, see,
is there any one of the Celtic youths just now, John, that you've looked at as a coach, even now as you are, and said to yourself, "Hey, that boy's he's really got"? No, none.
No, none.
Because I've said to Ryan, I do like the look of the lad Turley. I don't know if there's maybe it's just me. I don't know.
I've not saw a lot of them, to be honest, since I've come here, right? But like me, Si Ferry talks about the players and that. And I've watched a bit of stuff that he's done, and they say that how good certain players are. But none of them have even went out and loaned to these clubs and done it.
Yeah.
Surely they'd be better off. So what that tells me, even at 18, 19, they're not even good enough to play in the Championship. People could get, you see their wages are like 800 quid a week. The boys in the Championship, that saves them half the money. They can get them in for 400, and they're not even gone there. There's no. I'm not saying it's worrying for Celtic. I think Celtic are that elite now. You're talking, you need to be a Champions League player to play first, to break into Celtic. No, that's hard for any 18, 19-year-old. You need to be that top player, but you look at which a player I played with Star. I hope they try to sign him was Lennon Muller. But for 11, 12-year-old, he was coming into. Well, I was at Falkirk at the time. Really, he was coming in there and no training mates, but he would do both the rondos and stuff like that. But everybody knew he had something about him. So I've been trying to get him since he was about fucking 12-year-old. Do you know what I mean? But they felt that was a better progression for him at Motherwell. So is a B League better to go on and do your graft at a team like Motherwell and then end up in the Premier League and then signing? It's hard.
John, you've touched on Lennon Muller there, right? Me and Ryan have had conversations, not even on the podcast, just in general on the phone, and we've chatted quite a bit about Lennon. And I'm not going to lie, I think the kid is really special, and it really deflates me, mate. When I'm probably going to talk out of turn a wee bit, but I don't care. I'm going to say my opinion. You look at the Scotland team, and it's getting announced, and guys like Kenny McLean, who even didn't get a game of fives on a Sunday, man, and what. Honestly, we didn't get to walk my dogs. And
see, I played against Kenny.
I know you have, but I'm looking at the levels of player, and you're looking at the quality of what they bring. Now, evidently, I mean, what he's done there is Callum McGregor's retired for international football, and he's put Kenny McLean in there to replace Callum McGregor. Now, I don't know if that's because Lewis Ferguson's now injured or whatever. I don't know if Lewis would have been a part of that plan. But this is what we're seeing just now. And Kenny McLean, for what I saw Lennon Miller, Kenny McLean couldn't wash Lennon Miller's boots. And I'm not being rotten, by the way, when I say this. No, I'm sorry if that sounds disrespectful. I know he's still playing at a decent level, it's Championship, not the rest of it, but I'm only telling you what I've seen between the two players. That lad, Miller, is outstanding.
I think he'll be in the Scotland squad before the end of the season. Miller.
Lennon?
Aye. I think he'll be in the Scotland squad before the end of the season. I think if Scotland were getting results, he might have been in the squad by now. I think because he's that young, that there'll be so much pressure on him. Not a saviour, because it's not at that stage yet. But he probably doesn't need that. But Liverpool, but Motherwell will be absolutely desperate to get him in.
Yeah.
Obviously, transfer fee goes. If I was Celtic, I would try and get a deal done and let him get loaned back to the end of the season.
That's why I said the JP. That's why I said it should do.
But I think you're talking 4s and 5s now.
Well, we said that roughly it'll be David Turnbull money or just a bit more. Only about 3.5, 4 million probably.
I think it'll be more than Turnbull, and it's because I think he's a better player than Turnbull.
At that level, he's at the now.
All round player, like just the way he conducts himself on the pitch, like. He's winning fouls. He knows when to fall down and not just. But his dad was an absolute expert at that. He made a living out of the game, I believe.
Experience.
But even the way he sees way he passes the ball at the pitch, and he's a tall boy. He starts it. He's only going to get bigger and better. I
love the way he takes the ball in a half turn. He just he
I'll
does
be
it
very
effortlessly.
surprised. I'll be very surprised if Celtic are not. Probably, I'll be honest with you, probably about 20 clubs already into him. Do you know? No into him, but into Motherwell. And it will be a
it was said recently on Clyde Super Scoreboard that he has told his family that he's moving on from Motherwell in January.
Apparently he's moving. I don't know if that's true, but apparently it was on Clyde 1.
Yeah, it was on Clyde 1. Gordon Duncan and I think it might have been Marvin Bartley I heard talking about it.
Well, Big Lee will be gutted because he'll not be playing digs in, and he's Big Lee will need to go and do a few more haircuts then.
It was actually
Big Lee's actually been on a few. He's been doing the rounds. He was on that terrace chat on Friday there, and he was on the sports scene highlights at the weekend as well. Aye.
No, he's obviously came from a football background, Lennon. But I think he would. I think Celtic will sell a couple again next year. I think when you maybe a Hattie could maybe be one that would go. Which Kyogo 29 going to be 30.
Mm-hmm.
Don't spend 11.5 million and don't sell on move on another striker. Do you know what I mean? There might be there'll be a bit of movement just to freshen it up. I think it's happened every year with Celtic in it. Mm-hmm. So I think it does suit the Celtic model with a younger player coming in.
There was a question from my old man, John. He says, see, obviously in pre-season, how long do you get off and how long do you train for? And do you get a plan for when they're off? Is there a plan that they need to follow to come back, like certain weights and stuff like that? Is that in plan for you?
Well, us as a football club, we'll do that. We'll take the weights. I take the weights every week, every training session. Anyway, it's something. Even to this day, I'll still come out and weigh myself every morning, just because I've been used to it since I was 16. Sometimes it's a bit heavier than others. I don't get to lose the weight as much as quick this time. But no, it's totally different here, as in the time of the season and stuff. That's a lot shorter. Like our league games are only 22 league games. We only play each other twice. Then we've got a League Cup section before it. So that if you get the final, add in about another 6, 7, and then you've got cup games that take you up to your 30s. So the season's a lot shorter, but we having it off probably about 3 months. We finished start of September. We'll go back in for a couple of weeks in December, so 2 months, and then we'll be back in at the start of January. But this is the first time I've brought us in December because I felt we weren't fit enough at the start of last season. So I've got everybody in at the start of December a wee bit earlier, and then they'll get their plan going into January. So the runs that we're doing at the start of December, they'll be expected to do every week in the lead up till the first week in January.
I suppose that's one way to get marked off everybody's Christmas card list, mate.
I don't mind that because I don't want people to know my address anyway. Too many people at your door. Know what I mean? I'm here for a bit of peace.
Obviously, we're coming to the end of our chat today. Obviously, just to sum us up, John. Obviously, on the coaching side of things, mate, would you recommend any young aspiring coach? Is it the best thing to do is to go abroad and do what you've done? Would you recommend that? And if so, why?
Oh, definitely. You see the way other people do things. I think I've been quite lucky as in going to Melbourne. I worked with a guy, it was Guy Scotty Muller, he was an assistant manager at Fulham, assistant manager at the Anne Postecoglou. He was manager of Newcastle Jets as well and done a bit of work in Denmark. So I remember seeing him and I saw the way his training or the rest of it. It was like John McGlynn type of thing. And he was doing it to players that I think they're uncoachable. No uncoachable, that's right. I don't think they'll be able to, but they did. They took me, I think I mentioned earlier, I think it was before we're live about Stephen Anderson. And I was like, so that can actually happen. You can actually make, even it doesn't regardless what age you can actually do it. And coming to Australia, you're coming out your comfort zone. When I went into a dressing room in Scotland, everybody knew me. So it's easier to deal with things. Whereas you come over to, and I said it to all the players, especially I said it to Lee, I says, people don't judge you for what you've done in your past. They judge you for what you're doing now, because they don't know any different. So you come over fresh, and then you've got to implement yourself into. But obviously, I played before I became the coach, so it's different. It's different. It is challenging, but I'll be honest, I enjoy it. Because I've had a few options. I've had a few chances to get back and coach back home. And I've had even here. I've had a few to move clubs and stuff like that. But again, the time is everything. But I would find it hard to get back to Scotland to coach. See the way people are. Like, it's a pure rat race. Like some people, I've seen managers come into, like, they've been sacked and then they start turning up at games because your manager's under pressure to lose his game, lose his job.
Well, that's what happened. That's what happened to Rangers. Michael Beale was in the stands when Giovanni.
See, when that was happening, and as in for a footballing background, you're like absolute rat. And
that's bad, isn't it?
Terrible. And then look what transpires. That doesn't surprise you if you're running about pubs and governing all that, looking for a job. You're already in a job. You're doing there trying to get another guy's job. But I know it's not about it, but their board shouldn't have let him in the fucking place in the first place when the manager's there.
Yeah.
That just undermined him straight away. That was like, right, when's this going to happen? Whereas I don't think that would happen at Celtic. Normally when you see a manager leave Celtic, he's as in good terms when you think about Martin O'Neill leaving, Gordon Strachan. He didn't come back for about a year, 18 months. And they would always come back when it was stages when the team's doing well and winning. There were a lot of ex-managers in the crowd, you know, at Parkhead, but you want to see that if
it's similar with Neil Lennon. He's only come back and done TV work recently now.
Aye, well, there you go. I basically tip it right, because see if you're there and I think you look terrible. I think you look shocking. But to answer your question, I would recommend people go and try different things. I think I've seen a lot of Scottish players, like even going out to Italy and stuff now, and opening, because there is a lot of good players in Scotland, like really, really good players. And it's just because maybe they get shoehorned into a certain level that people think that's all they can play. Because you've seen it, even like, who's the boy who's playing with Aberdeen now? Devlin. Devlin's been a good player. I'm not saying he can play for Celtic or that, but he knew he ends up with Scotland International at 30-year-old. But he had to go through playing with Stenhousemuir, Ayr United. Yeah. He had to play 3 clubs, but he's playing arguably the second biggest club in Scotland.
He's arguably, well, the thing is, John, as well, he's arguably probably being coached by a coach now that you could probably say it's probably going to end up one of the best coaches he's played under to date.
Well, he's all you're hearing is good things for him, innit? He'll probably be fought after before any of the players are. Because that's a guy who posted a £6 million striker, by the way.
Yeah.
Miofsky.
He bought the Aberdeen team with £2 million. Do
you think Celtic should have took him?
Who, Jimmy Tiernan? I don't know if he'd get. I don't know. It's a bit of a thing. John Kennedy. It's a bit of a disservice. John, he's been there for a while.
I don't know, John. I don't think so. I don't know. But don't get me wrong. I said to you, I don't know what your thoughts is. Obviously, you're a striker, but I think for me, obviously it's a talking point. It's no his fault he went for that fee, but I know I don't think he's fully fit yet, Adamida. But for me, the fee we paid from, I think for me he's going to be doing well, John. I don't know if that's just me because of the fee, but I know it's going to be hard to come in and play 15 minutes and in and out. I know that's hard, but I feel he's going to do a lot more than what he's shown personally.
You see when Celtic signed Eduardo, I think Edward was worth £9 million.
Not at the time, no.
No, not at the time, no.
It turned out to be an absolute bargain.
And Rodgers was, so I think you're trusting Rodgers with the transfer of this. That's what makes me think he'll go next year. Because I don't think Rodgers, it's very hard for a player to come in and be second fiddle. He must know that, right, day or year, you'll get like 20 games and then next year you're the main man. I think Celtic get a selling value as well with Kyogo in the summer. No, I don't want him to leave. I'm just as in the business model that you've seen at Celtic every year.
Yeah.
But I think the Edward thing's the one that should give you confidence that he is going to turn out to be. Because you've got to remember, he's not playing every week. It's hard coming in for 20 minutes, missed a chance, oh fuck, and then you start on the AstroTurf. He's just come out of the Ireland squad saying he's injured, so he's obviously not want to give up his opportunity, and he's maybe carrying an oak. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I said this to Ryan, John, and I said, is it a case of he's pulled out to the public side to get himself that wee bit more sharper, knowing fine well we're going into now a run of games. By the way, there's no winter break in the league either, so you're going to have to,
would you not be better playing
going to be utilised.
Would you not be better playing games for Ireland than just training then?
But he might go and that manager might not pick him. So is that maybe on his head as well?
I suppose. I get your argument.
Well, look at Atati. Atati's travelled twice now and no played.
I know played.
They've got a culture, Ryan, in Japan where they're.
I know they love going, but in terms of him as a player, you're travelling all that way, and then you're not playing. You can be away to Dubai for a week and relaxing if that's the case.
Well, Roger, but this is what we're saying about Aida. There's not going to be many players. You're going back to the B, but you're going to train with the B squad. He'll not be in. He'll not be at Lennoxtown. He'll be away somewhere. Rogers isn't even there. He's away. They're all away.
You can't go and visit John because he's not getting his address, so he doesn't want him to know his address. So I thought he's not chatting your door soon, mate. Don't worry.
We're actually moving. We're just we're ready to build a house over, which is not a big deal in Australia. By the way, it sounds a lot fucking glamorous, and it is. Everybody does it, so it won't be my house for long anyway. I'm moving. I
did see some early photos of the kind of land, mate, in the early trip. So when is that looking to be finalised?
Hopefully it'll be October. Hopefully next year.
Next year, obviously, yeah. All right, fine.
The wife deals with it. We've got a couple of things to deal with in the next couple of weeks regarding it. So she's booked me in a diary for that. But we had my parents over and my auntie and uncle a few weeks ago, so they weren't over long enough, mind you. It's good when they come over, but honestly, it absolutely kills you when they're away, man. Kills you. I couldn't even take them to the airport there.
Is that the hardest part, John, then? Yeah, having to say bye-bye again.
And then you're getting older, and it sounds like not every time, but you're seeing people starting to drop off. Do you know what I mean? I actually said it on the family chat today, like a tongue and joke, when we're coming back home to visit, I'm going to bring my black tie with.
No, I know what you mean. It's life's short on it.
It's quite. I think. Well, you're realising you're getting old yourself, but it's it's been a long time we've been away. It's 4.5 years. More than that. So about a few months into nearly, it's closer to 5. So it's it's a lot, but I've not even been back home yet. So
is that how long it is you've been away? Wow, man, I can't believe I've still been running up and down Sauchiehall Street showing everybody that video of that Rafe Rovers got final goal you scored, mate. That's absolutely brilliant. You seen my mate? Anyway, my mate scored a peachy goal the weekend.
Keep showing them, because that's good. If Rafe Rovers were actually going to put us in the Hall of Fame, but they said I had to come home for it. I was like, well, I've no flew back to see family, so I can't get back.
I'm building a new house, I can't do it.
I've got no money. Yeah, skint. Buying some cream.
Right. Well, it's coming into good weather.
Next year, I'm not sent to homes under the hammer, lads.
I went to school with him, so I did.
Nicky boy.
Nick's a good guy.
He's a Cran Hull boy, isn't he? Cran Hull?
I think he is, I think he could be, yeah.
I'm not sure, Nick, where you fae. Don't tell his address, so don't tell your address.
Don't tell your address. Nick probably knows John's old address.
It's too dear to be Christmas cards out here.
I was going to send you one, man, then I looked at the price of the stamp and I went, nah, you're all right, man.
Just give me a wee virtual wave in it, man.
Virtual wave, aye.
My mum sends us stuff all the time, so she does. All the time.
But obviously, before we finish up, John, touching on Celtic again, mate, where do you think this Celtic team could end up at the end of the season? What do you think? Very successful season for us?
I think it'll be a treble.
A treble? Wow. Ryan, it's the same as you.
I thought it would be a treble last year, to be honest. But obviously, I think the way the club has gone off the park is definitely breeding on the park. Obviously, everyone's in place. You've got the right coaching group and all the rest of it. Brendan left quite abruptly last time. I don't see that happening again.
Mhm.
I think
he's happy, John? Do you think obviously he knows he's going to get back
Well,
and obviously the win for him?
you know, look at Ange at Tottenham now.
Yeah.
I understand why you want to go and get a go on that, right? I get that. To be the first Australian and all that nonsense, or if it is even the first Australian. But see, being at a club with Celtic and winning things, man, there's nothing better. Absolutely nothing better. Man.
Do you think we need to get him? Well, we spoke about it. I've spoken about it with my dad as well. He's only got 18 months left, John. No matter what happens in the European stage now, he's progressed. So do you think we should be try to get him probably after Christmas, try and get him at least a new 1 year and a half or 2 year deal if we can?
I think the next contract he signs with Celtic will be a rolling contract. I think it'll be like a 1 year long contract.
That's what it had with O'Neill and that, wasn't it? And stuff, wasn't it?
That's what Celtic used to have, aye.
And so every day you wake up, you get another year. I think that'll be because what it is, it keeps the players on their toes and stuff as well. I think if Rodgers would come out and sign a contract now and you're not at Christmas yet, everything's gone well. But if you get that League Cup in the bag, and then obviously keep progressing in Europe, I think they'll win. I think with the home games especially, I'll be very disappointed if we can't get 6 points out of the next 12 in the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? I think they're after that performance last week, that is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, they set them up really well, isn't it?
So you can imagine the players. Now I know they go and play at Rugby Park, and there is a big difference, right? Celtic fans are brilliant at the game. There is a big difference going there for that Champions League night. Celtic cannot wait to get. So they've went to a semi-final, Champions League night, or the Champions League night semi. I can't remember them. What was it? The semi-final first.
Semi-final against Aberdeen, then we played Leipzig in the Champions League.
You look at that, right? The games, then you go to Rugby Park on the AstroTurf. You get through it. Celtic cannot wait for the next Champions League games. They cannot wait for that. That is. When was the last time Celtic were in a position they actually couldn't wait for the next Champions League games? Do you know what I mean?
And normally it's like we're going to get beat today, but how much?
We have had some hard groups, you know what I mean? There's no doubt about that. And I like the way this format's obviously helping everybody.
Do you like the format, John? The change?
I think when you look through even the Europa League, everything's better for it. I think there's more games, obviously, so there's more money involved. And I think it gives teams an opportunity to go and winning games. You're playing Man City 2 games. All right, they've been beat 4 times in the last 4 competitions, but you're playing Man City. Straight away, you're like, it's going to be difficult to get 6, get a point out of this.
Yeah.
And you need 10 to qualify with the groups. I think this gives everybody a fairer opportunity. But see, when you look at that result in the Champions League, I know we went to Dortmund, but that team's second in the league. They're not far off Dortmund. So Celtic have obviously learned for that night. And I thought it was amazing, man. What a performance that was. But you had people on the bench as well. I think the big centre half that's come in.
Trusty.
Next to Vickers. Vickers is brilliant, man. See, if Vickers was taller, he'd be in the Premiership. It's just his height.
Yeah.
That's you need to be except for Man United when the smokes they've got, but you need to be absolutely massive to play in the Premier League, don't you? But he's a monster, man. Absolutely some player.
He actually, I mean, the surprising thing is, I mean, he came up for Spurs as well. So, you know, like, Spurs are probably around that now. They're probably looking at that and going, why'd we let him go? Especially, they've done the exact same with Joe Hart as well. So,
I know. What do you think of Schmeichel? Do you think he's made a difference?
I think he's an upgrade, John. I really do. I think it's the way that Celtic can now play with the ball and the way they...
Did you play him at Falkirk, John?
No, I missed him. No, he was a lot. He was with Falkirk when they're in the Premier League, wasn't he? Aye,
because his debut he actually saved a penalty against us and they beat us.
Because he's not a big goalkeeper. He's not, like, you saw his interview with McGregor after the game. But you've seen his composure and stuff like that. Like, he's picking out the passes and that. And he's
It's
worked under Rodgers, so he knows everything.
It's the distribution that I like, Johnny. It's all dinks and pings, and it's all sharp.
You look at the semi-final when Aberdeen were pressing us, and they had like a 3 to 4 man press coming on him, and he looked as if he was second favourite to not lose the ball, and he just pinged the ball right out of the boy Sockler's head on Agee, and it was done like he knew what he was going to do, but I think he'd half that stadium panicking, Ryan included, because he was there, and obviously he just floated a perfect pass, weight of pass and everything right on Agee, and
he signed a 2-year contract, didn't he? 2 year. It's Michael.
Yeah.
Taylor's out of contract. I saw Roger saying he wants that sorted one way or another, didn't he?
I think we're at a time now, John, but I would be saying we need to know where he's at in terms of his head, because Celtic's like a train, isn't it? It's moving forward rapidly, and we're coming up to the January window, and we need to know, because there's murmurs here in Glasgow that the boy Valle might be going back to Barcelona in January as well. I didn't even know they had a recall option on him.
Yeah, they'll have a list of players. They'll have about 5 players for each position. One goes, bang. And they'll already have a left back in mind. You saw it with, what's his name before Johnston came in? The right back.
Juranovic.
They already had one. Now, see if somebody told you about 3-4 weeks before that he was getting sold, you wouldn't have. You already no chance. Bang, then Johnson was in, and then it was just plain sailing. It was, you don't even speak about him now. And that's, look at O'Reilly. I know he's came back, he scored the winner at the weekend, but look at that midfield.
John, I don't think we missed Matt O'Reilly, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful there. I thought he'd be like a bad loser that he left us, and he's doing. I hope he does very well. It was good to see him get his winner at the weekend. But
what's your thoughts on Engels? I don't know if that's what JP's going to say there, but what's your thoughts? I know he's just come in for a new country, and I know he's not on Matt O'Reilly in terms of goals and stuff like that, but I think he's brilliant, John, for what I've seen from him.
So that he's only 21.
Yeah, he's just turned 21, yeah.
I think he'll be good, June. I think that will come good. And to be playing in a team in a level that he's playing at, just moving into a new country is, at that age, is brilliant. So he's only going to get better. You think of the level he's playing at, he's only going to get better.
We got a wee comment here, John. P. McLaughlin, he says his wee bro was in your class at school.
P. McLaughlin.
I don't know who's your bro. P. McLaughlin, let us know. John went to school with quite a few people, so he'll probably know.
I get suspended quite a bit, so I don't know if I was in much.
Is that what it was? I always thought you were dogging it.
I was doing that and all, to be fair. I hated school, man. Jesus, Andy.
Jamesy McLaughlin.
Oh, I know who it is. Yeah. And
don't tell his address, but it's all right.
Oh, he's obviously, by the way, not well. Jamesy's obviously not well photo there. That was just kind of swiftly on that. I know it is. It's all right.
He's so close. I think he went to my class in St Paul's as well.
Right.
So he did. Nah. I never got suspended much for the primary school, mind you.
I'm waiting on another P. McLaughlin story here coming. I think there could be another. There could be a part 2 of this comment.
You'll need to delete that.
But obviously touching on Engels, John, just before we finish up, mate, your thoughts on the young man himself?
I think he's, again, I think it's Rodgers you've got to trust. That sort of money normally comes for the main man getting him over the line, because if he wasn't willing to push him, I don't think the Celtic board would go and pay that sort of money for any player if the manager wasn't demanding it. It was the same with Michael coming in. He's not coming in cheap, not got much selling value, and I think that's no. This is what we need. Now, looking at him, Celtic got a good midfield. Celtic, that's probably one of the strongest bits of the team, isn't it? The middle part. So you think of Bernardo and stuff like that. Celtic's got absolutely some players there. Bernardo, Ahati, Engels, McGregor, McCown. Any of them could play in any game. Obviously, McGregor's a big fucking part of it. Do you know what I mean? He's the heart of it. But that's the same at every club. I don't think anybody can replace these sort of players. But no, I think Celtic have a massive strength, and strengthen options, and I don't see it get any weaker as the years go on. It's just going to absolutely keep churning out. It's a machine.
You think Boy McCown will do okay?
I do. I think he's got character. I think he's absolutely where he's came from. Obviously, a wee bit of appreciation at the level that he's came from, but he's not going to give up this opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great signing for Celtic.
Absolutely, especially for price.
Yeah, absolutely.
He knows. But just say that you mentioned it earlier about the run of games after these and then going into Christmas and all that. You need guys like that to take us through to go and win a treble. That's how you win a treble. You've seen it early years in cup finals. The big boys that probably only started about 10 games. Ralston's played in the fucking more cup finals than Johnson, I think, just because of injuries.
Yeah.
It's the end of the season. Who's going to be there to actually today? So I honestly don't see how Celtic can lose games. Maybe I'm just a wee bit overconfident. Being in Australia, I don't see it on a day-to-day basis in the papers, but obviously you look online and stuff like that. I don't see any negativity whatsoever for Celtic. All you see is what's happening at our side.
Oh no, he scored two against Leipzig, and the next day, Keith Jackson's pals decided to run a story that there's teams in the Premier League want Nicholas Kuhn and they're ready to get him in January. So they've run that story straight away because Celtic must be doing something right. Obviously, the team across the water, John, before we finish up now, do you see them being able to finish second? Because right now they are struggling.
If they change manager, I think they will.
But they need to do that now, you reckon, in order to get second place.
If Celtic take 4 or 5 of them after the cup final, he's gone.
She been a player. But she been a player involved in dressing rooms. See, when you start, obviously the fans were on their back, 1-1-0, and the morale's no good. They're not playing football. Does something need to give eventually then?
Aye, it does. Aye, something needs to change now. But obviously, I've been in teams and the fans are getting the team it's stinking. Do you know what I mean? But I don't. The supporters never really cause much of a hassle. I don't think with teams. It's even when your captain's not playing right. And no, rightly or wrongly, it doesn't. But it'll be people in that dressing room and I've got a lot of respect for each players. And I don't want to name the manager, but I remember the manager drafting a few experienced players, and I remember sitting thinking, going, well, if he's doing it to him, I know I'm fucking next in a couple of weeks because you just they people have been loyal to them, and then as soon as they have a wee bit of bad form, they're getting ditched. I don't think that bodes well for the dressing room near a day. I think all the talk at the start of the season, is he gone, as you know, and he's not the captain, or he is the captain, Butland's the captain, all that fucking shit, and he comes out, he's playing. The boy was on it, and I'm not defending it, right? He was only hiding nothing half his own fucking supporters. The manager should come out straight away and say he's my captain. So pressure on him. It's pure man. He's been, and I think you've seen that in his performances. He's obviously been poor, hasn't he? And now they're coming out. They just go for the same people all the time. It's a fucking bully. It's bullying, you know what I mean?
Yeah, scapegoat all the time.
It's fucking shit, man. And then when you look at some of the, I honestly don't know some of the players. I don't know their name. I'm like, man, who is this character? You know what I mean? Right. And then they're going, that one was signed for 4 million. You're like, you've signed Luke McCown for Dundee for 1.5, who's miles better than anything.
Bernardo McCown with the same money as Diamandi.
So there you go, right?
By the way, that, I mean, you look at that alone, right, in isolation. Diamandi was bought for 4.5 million after a loan deal that then became a permanent, and they had to do it because that was in the deal. Yeah. He's nowhere near the same ability as Glenn Kamara.
But see, Barn, would Barn get in the Aberdeen team in it?
He wouldn't get a game of Kirby, Biggie.
Right. He wasn't playing them consistently.
In they class him as their best player.
And they were all booing the manager at the weekend for taking him off against Hearts.
Well, there you go, that's what I'm getting at. Do you know what I mean? They wouldn't even go to bench at Celtic. That's how far away Celtic are for their rivals. That's how far away is a club. And Celtic will only get bigger and expand. I don't see the Champions League. I think, see if you get into the last 8, the automatic, what is the deal for the Champions League next year?
I'm not too sure. Usually Big Alan, it does a podcast with John's more clued up on that. I have heard that if Celtic progress further, it can help their qualification process should they win it? Because I know we are back to qualifiers. Should Celtic win the league this season and obviously into next?
It
Because the
depends if
coefficient is taking a bit of a battering over the last number of years.
Well, Scotland's not helping it either the last 18 months, is it?
No. No way some of the results.
No, it's been poor, hasn't it? I'll be interesting. I just don't see how. Well, see if Celtic ended up in the Europa League, you would fancy us to go far in that. I mean, even
you look at some of the teams that are in there, yeah, definitely.
Look at West Ham, for instance, winning the conference and stuff like that. So there is a lot of stuff can happen with Celtic in European nights. Future-wise, you look at it and you go, so why would you not want to beat Celtic and why would you want to leave? Unless, would you go to Brentford at this moment in time if you were Kuhn? Absolutely not. I went after 2 or 3 seasons, 4 seasons maybe, and obviously the situation the club was in at that time, that's probably maybe he felt that was probably the best time to leave because it was a rebuild again. You get that, but I don't see how Celtic will make that same mistake again. I can't see how they'll make that same mistake. How the club will get to that stage. I just don't see it happening again.
Yeah. Ryan, obviously we've spoken about this millions of times, mate. We're on the way the club's running now, mate. We're in a different stratosphere now to maybe what we've had before, and certainly in terms of opposition in the league, we are miles and miles and miles away.
Of course, you've no divine right to win any game or any trophy and stuff, but on paper, if Celtic turn up majority of the games, they're going to win the games, and they're going to get more money as the years go on.
Yes.
Keep qualifying for Europe. They're going to maybe sell the odd big player every 2 years, which then funds more money. They're just then when you're successful, the fans will buy the strips, the training gear, they'll go to games, they'll buy the package programmes. There's just money all the time. So them across the water in Aberdeen, if you want to call Aberdeen challengers, I don't know if you want. I don't think personally. I own paper the other now, but I think eventually, no, just because of the way they're in form, Celtic are night and day away from everybody in Scotland. And I'm agreeing with John. It's only going to get bigger. It's only going to get bigger.
The only thing that can keep Celtic going is just strengthen the squad. So what becomes the players become, because they're trying to get in the team and they're trying to keep them out of the team. So that becomes the biggest challenge is amongst themselves.
Competition.
And you've heard it through the years, right? With the old Man United team, like your Keens and all that. They say training was harder than games. So that's where it'll be at Celtic now. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%, mate. John, I want to say a massive thanks, mate, for... I know we did try... I think it was around about the time your family were visiting, mate. I know we tried to get you on a phone, man, and I want to say thank you for...
Yeah, thanks a lot, mate.
Obviously taking the time with us today, mate. I know there's a bit of time difference where you guys are. I hope you and the family are well, mate. Obviously, you've got a lot going on yourself. You told us about you're moving house next year, and hopefully everything goes well with that. First and foremost, I hope you can get the season started and you start well and start brightly.
We're looking quite good so we've signed 8 boys into the team, and we've got a few Irish boys in. Our Mad's a brush, mind you, but I expect big things out from this season, so good Celtic boys for now.
If you need a wee chat with him, just say to that. Ryan's got a baby with Irish, mate. He's turned Liam Scales into an Irish version of Paolo Maldini now, man.
He's had some. He's done brilliant, hasn't he?
No, he has. Aye, he has. And Ryan's got a wee lump in his throat having to say that there. He wasn't one of Ryan's favourites a while ago, so I just like rubbing that into him because every time Big Scales does well.
I still think he's got a moment of madness in him, John. I still think compared to even Trusty, I still feel Trusty's a more solid defender personally, especially at the level that for Europe. I know he's done well and get the odd man and match and stuff. I get it, but I just feel all round. I just feel he's more than a second choice. I know Rodgers likes him. He does like him, but I know we signed Lagerbielke in the offseason for big money, but I feel on one player for Rodgers to pick out any centre back you could sign to go and spend $6 million on him. I know it's part of a squad and nobody's, if you want to call it, first choice. I don't think we can afford, John, to no play him because
They'll
we can't
play.
afford to. Aye.
You saw it. See when it came to the big call, the semi-final. Your centre half plays and your midfielder plays. Your two big money signings. That tells you everything. Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't mean he's a good player. Like, Scales might end up playing in the Holland Cup finals because Vickers does get a few injuries in that. Do you know what I mean? Just the way he plays.
Yeah.
But, I think that tells you everything. I think did Taylor play the semi-final or was it?
Aye.
He came on. No, he came
on. He came on.
He started and then Taylor came on.
If Taylor was fit, I would say that would have been. We put Taylor in, that would have been maybe my opinion. Rodgers thinks.
Well, there you go. I mean, the Champions League game came after it, and Taylor started that, and everybody was baffled by that because everybody thought the lad Valle was going to play.
But Taylor's done brilliant for Celtic, man. Fucking, it's done. It's been what the money set paid for him. Fucking great.
Yeah, I know. It's unbelievable for his delivery and everything, and what he's brought to the club and helped to bring trophies and the success he's helped to bring as well.
So, who was your left back before that? Tierney, wasn't it? Tierney.
Ball and Gong and Bernabe, wasn't it?
So no, Bernabe came in. Bernabe just came in with Ange.
Aye, but I let Ball and Golly and Taylor. Aye.
Who was your man? Who was left back for Dyer? Was that Tierney? That was Tierney.
Tierney and Azagiri.
What the heck's happening with
Tierney? I personally, I've said this even off of this. I've said I think Celtic's no deliberation, but I think Celtic's absolutely killed him with the amount of games he played when he was such a young age. And then see, because his profile, John, I think he became a demand because he had to play. He became that famous so quickly, taking to the team and taking over Emilio Izagirre's position, and then he was overplayed in my opinion. We're now at a stage where Cal McGregor's the same, by the way. He's going to feel that. See, when he's an older guy, he will feel the amount of football. He plays about 500 games a year. He was club cunt. Honestly, he was playing some. He plays some amount of football. I mean, B. McGregor, you could probably count on one hand the amount of injuries he's had in the last 10 years.
I know. No, it's
scary.
Tierney must have been some. It was his hamstring, wasn't it? With Scotland, he tore.
Yeah.
So, is he fit? He's not fit.
Apparently, he's back training.
I think he either Janger or some odd John Angies.
Do you know, I've heard a rumour, and this again, this is just a rumour, but I've heard a story that he doesn't like him because he's a Celtic boy. Arteta doesn't like him, and he doesn't play him because he's a Celtic boy. That's seemingly the mindset.
He signed him, man. He signed the boy Pepe and offer 100 million.
No, he never signed. Was it no?
It was it. No, I'm sure
he never got much money. I think that was Arteta.
Arteta's been there 5-6 years, you know.
I know, fuck man. I think he's won 2 cups. You know what I mean? For the money he spent.
I know, it's crazy. And they've just lost. By the way, they've just lost his best mate, Big Edu. They've just lost him. He's away.
I've seen that. Who's he going to? Something silly in it?
Apparently Olympiacos, apparently.
No, he's gone to the same. He's gone to that team that own Olympiacos, Nottingham Forest. It's a company. I can't remember the name of them.
That's right.
They own all the kind of. But he's actually leaving Arsenal to directly go and start working with Nottingham Forest immediately. That's what his first job is.
It's that lobbies.
Yeah,
all the 3 teams.
But he's getting into Nottingham Forest straight away, who are actually running really, really well in the Premier League this season.
I know, but come on, man, fucking Nottingham Forest.
I know, it's mental. It's
crazy.
That's
what Gary Neville and that was saying, John. They were like, what's he doing?
I know, there must be something all right at Arsenal then.
Yeah, or maybe something's ready to hit the fan, and you know, who knows. But listen, we could chat about this all day, lads. Obviously, time is marching on, and we'll need to call it a day there. But John, again, mate, I appreciate you coming on and having a chat with us.
Cheers, mate.
Pleasure. Absolutely.
It's really good to chat with you, mate, again. And as I say, I'll be in touch. I'll be in touch with you as always. But for the time being, folks, take care, hail, and we will see you again on the next one. Cheers, guys. Bye bye.